magical number. Thank you, Ridor. Glamdring. Thank you for your subscription. You're awesome, guys. Okay. Tonight, I wanted to talk with you before going to celebration part. I wanted to talk with you about my Chess Killer Tips podcast. I'm not sure if you've heard about it. Maybe you have. It all started with Chess School podcast. When was it? It was a long time ago, I must say. A long time ago. When was it? When did I start this Chess School podcast? I know many of my followers listened to it. I think it ran from 2000, like the end of 2008 to somewhere. Yeah, I found it. So yeah, 11 years ago. Can you imagine? No, not 2000. No. I started it actually, 2005. The first episode, yes, I should have celebrated 15 years of that. So the first episode of Chess School podcast was recorded in 2005, and it ran all the way till 2009. I've recorded 35 podcasts, it seems. I'll manage to get the recordings. I haven't managed to do so, and but I managed to find recordings of Chess Killer Tips podcast, and I think we should listen to the first 2 episodes. They are very short. They can all be found on the following YouTube channel if you want to listen to all 64. But I decided that we will listen like one by one, starting with number 1. Something is going on with my face. And then we can discuss in more details every episode. Where is it? Let me check it. Doesn't want to. Okay. Better. Should be better a little bit. Just a second. Try to. It doesn't work. Doesn't work very well tonight. Just doesn't want to work. Okay, maybe like this it's gonna be a little bit better. Anyway, let's listen to this Chess Killer Tips podcast, and then discuss it. So here comes the first episode. It's just like an introduction episode.
Welcome to Chess Killer Tips, brought to you by ChessQueen.com. Here's your host, Alexandra Kosteniuk.
Hello, my dear chess friends. I'm glad to be back, working on a new chess podcast. I received a lot of feedback from my Chess School audio podcast last fall. People from around the world asked me to continue to help them improve at chess, to show them new tips, to give them chess positions that are fun to solve and whose solutions are instructive. I am pleased to tell you that I'm now ready for the challenge. I am introducing today the new free chess video podcast, Chess Killer Tips. New episodes will be published on a regular basis. They will be available either via iTunes or directly at the site chesskillertips.com. The podcasts can be viewed on PCs and Macs, on iPods, Apple TVs, even iPhones. Each episode will be short, easy to download, no more than 3 minutes long. Each podcast will contain a chess position for you to think about and try to solve. After showing you the position, you will be given a chance to press pause and to think about how best to play. As soon as you're ready, you can press play again and see the solution with my explanation. Each episode is marked easy, intermediate or difficult, and I will pick positions from the opening, the middle game and the end game. I will even give you some chess studies, as they are notoriously good for chess training. I will pick positions that I feel are most instructional, as well as some examples from my games and some from current grandmaster practice. A daily dose of chess killer tips will keep your mind fresh and ready for your next tournament. Watching regular episodes of my podcast will help you improve at chess, I guarantee it.
Sounds nice, isn't it? Will keep your mind fresh and what was that? Fresh and okay. So it's a little flashback. No, Chess is Cool podcast was in 2005, and this one I started recording it. I was trying to find it. I don't know, in 2000. What was that? 2006, 2007. I don't really remember, to tell you the truth. I will try to find the exact date till my next stream, but it was a while ago, that's for sure. It was a while ago. These podcasts are like short videos containing usually one or several instructional positions. So let's see the first one and then discuss the tactical idea from these podcasts in more details.
Welcome to Chess Killer Tips, brought to you by ChessQueen.com. Here's your host, Alexandra Kosteniuk.
This is a position from the game Carson Lecco from Dortmund 2007. Carson played Rook e3 here and the opponents agreed on a draw. My question to you is, what would have happened if Carson played, instead of Rook e3, Queen takes d6? You can press pause now and think for a moment. After the music, you'll hear the solution. I am back. Queen takes d6 in this position is a big mistake, since after Queen takes d6, Black can play Queen takes h4 check. After that, the only move for White is Rook h3, and here Black can take advantage of the pin, playing Rook h1 check, King takes h1, Queen takes h3 check, Queen h2, here another pin, Bishop takes g2, and after King g1, Black is a pawn up and should win this endgame. So don't forget about faraway bishops. Their pins can be deadly.
Thanks for watching the Chess Killer Tips podcast. Send your questions and comments to Alexandra@Kosteniuk.com.
Okay, well, who can tell me the name of this tactical motif? What is the name of it in English? Of course, we saw it like there was let me get to this position. So it was a game between Carlsen and Lecco, and White played Rook to e3. The game agreed on a draw. The players agreed on a draw after that, and the question was, what would have what would have happened if black would take on d6. Then queen takes h4, check, rook to h3, and then it's a very nice idea of getting the king to h1 square. Is it called a decoy? Can it be called a decoy? What is the name of this tactical motif? Who can tell me? Who can remind me in English when a piece kind of sacrifices in order to get usually a king, yes, to a very unfortunate. Well, x-ray, the bishop is x-raying, but I want to say that rook to h1. What is the name of this? Deflection? Well, it's kind of, yes, you deflect the king from the rook on h3. That's true. But I think it's also can be called as a decoy, no, or something. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it's a mixture of all the tactical ideas as usual. I mean, usually you rarely see like just one tactical idea in a combination. Combination usually is like a mixture of those tactical ideas, and here we can see in this particular line, so it's a check, of course it's an x-ray, a pin, and also like a deflection, decoy, I mean all those kind of well, a skewer, not probably a skewer though. A skewer, it's a little bit different than that, but what's important is that after rook to h1 check, white is in a very unfortunate position. After taking, queen takes to h3. Luckily for white has this queen to h2 move, but after bishop takes g2 check, black is getting like a winning endgame, or very close to winning, because there's 3 pawns against one on one king side, on one wing, should be very close to winning. And when preparing this stream, I wanted to find some similar combinations in chess, and I found several examples with the exact idea. So let's have a look. The first one happened in the game, well, they all from the games of not very known chess players, but nevertheless, let's see what happened over there. Here the position is very tense and complex. What was that? It was very strange line of, well, that's the Sicilian defense. The game transposed from the French defense to Sicilian somehow. Knight f6 was played, and I don't know what happened, but white king suddenly, I mean, suddenly it decided not to castle and stay in the center, so it ran from e1 to d1, from to c1, but white's bishops are very well placed right here, right now. So black needed to be very careful about the position of her king. Probably f6 or even f5 would have been a good idea to kind of stop at least one of the bishops. And what is white sacrificed how many pawns? 2 pawns. Probably white has some compensation, but it's not clear how the game would end. Luckily for white, black decided to grab one more pawn and played queen takes c5. And here comes our combination. Here comes bishop sacrifice. Bishop takes h7, opening up the g file, the h file. Rook h1, and black played king to g8. What would have happened after king to g6? King to g6 actually would have been much a better idea, because, well, in case of queen to d3, queen to f5 will follow, and white has nothing, I think, very serious now. Black is winning because queen g5 is coming with a check. So after king g6, white would need to continue the attack by taking on g7. Bishop takes g7, and the position is still quite unclear. Queen g5. Okay, it can take. We can try to give one more check and take now. What would it be? Better for white, but still a lot of things can happen here. While in the game, king to g8 followed, and now it's easy to find the winning move, since we already know this, since we already saw this motive, tactical motive, with inviting black's king to this a1 h8 diagonal. And because of the spin that happens after king takes h8, queen h6 check, and then queen takes g7 checkmate. Let's see another example. Also very complex position. Material is equal, but white king seems to be like in a little bit of trouble. White squares are weak, the spin is kind of annoying, and it's black to move. And black, I'm sure, was pushing for a win here, and made a rook e1 move, which looks very tempting to make, because the bishop seems to be lost here. But what is the problem after this move? What can white do? Yes, I do stream in Russian. During Title Tuesdays, I stream in Russian often, because I have a restream to Chess.com.ru channel, since I'm working for Chess.com in order to develop Chess.com-ru direction, the Russian community of Chess.com, if we can say so. I started this work in July, and it's very interesting. So it keeps me busy, I must say. Yeah, so that's why I'm streaming often on Chess.com.ru channels in Russian, and I'm doing restreams on my channel for Title Tuesday. And that's why I abandoned my own channel for almost 6 months, and then just in November I realized that it's a pity to abandon my own channel, and I decided to get back to streaming and set up a goal of 10,000 followers, which I reached today during my Title Tuesday. So I will try my best. It's like my New Year's resolution to continue finding time to stream on my channel. So hopefully we'll see each other soon. Yes, and I see that many of you already noticed this nice idea that we today discussing, which is the topic of our today's celebration stream. Indeed, when we know what we are looking for, it's very easy to find. But during this particular practical game, black missed this idea for white, because, well, they didn't look for it. They didn't know that actually it might be a bad idea to leave the king alone. It would have been a better choice for black right now, right here, to play knight e1, probably, with a threat of a fork, knight f3. And then again, I'm not sure about the evaluation of the position, The computer says it's about equal, but I would say that black has some advantage because white really needs to be careful in order. This is knight f3, bishop e4, checks. The king is weaker. White's king is weaker here, and we know that the position of the king is very important in chess. Yes, the concept that I showed before, and since I already introduced you to this concept, you see that it's very it's easier to find it, and many of you already mentioned the right line. Rook d8 check, then rook h8, again sacrificing itself in order to get the king to this deadly, under this deadly x-ray, to this deadly square, and then queen takes h6 check, and checkmate is coming in the next move. That's why black resigned. Okay, so next one, similar idea. In this very again complex position, it was black to move, but if we try to evaluate this position, thanks to the pawn on b3, actually an extra pawn supported by the bishop, everything is great for black. The only thing that black has to be careful about, it's as usual her king, because bishop here is kind of looking into this king in the direction of black's king. And it would have been a good idea to play rook d8 or rook e8 to protect the 8th rank. Instead, black decided to be greedy and took on a6. Queen takes h6. a6 followed, and what happened in this game? No, today actually I played very badly during my title Tuesday. It started okay, but then at some point I just completely collapsed, losing, I don't know, 2 or 3 games in a row. I finished with +1. I think I managed to get to 6 out of 11, but no, it was not the best one for me, definitely. Yes, rook to b8. And I cannot say that I coach online, but I stream online, and during my streams I discuss a lot of chess things that can help you, hopefully. Yes, the game continued with rook to b8, king h7, rook to h8. Well, black of course didn't take on h8 because of queen h6. And they played king to g6. And white found a very nice way to finish this game. Very nice way, but that led only to a draw. Any other ideas? What would you play if you were white? How would you continue the game? Waiting for your ideas, for your moves. h4. Okay. But it's not really threatening anything, right? h4. Well, I mean, it's kind of... I can play f6 probably. What else? It's not so easy actually to find the winning continuation here, especially keeping in mind that white was losing a few moves ago. Bishop to g7. Let's analyze this move. It's an interesting idea, of course. I'm afraid that the only problem after bishop takes g7, then black can take and take on g7. Probably you wanted to go to b8, but then if you go to b8, white is just losing because the pawn on b3 is very strong. And if not, If not, I mean, the position is unclear. It's not very pleasant to play with this pawn. So in order to win, any other ideas? Queen h3, queen takes h6. We will discuss a little bit later. Queen. So, and in the game, yes, in the game, white played queen takes h6, and the game ended with a very nice perpetual. Since king h5 is impossible to play. I mean, it's possible, but the king will be checkmated. And after king h7, white can give a very nice perpetual. It's a very nice perpetual indeed. The only problem that white is actually winning here, and they, in order to do so, they needed to move away with this rook somewhere to prepare, in order to prepare queen f4 move. So let's say rook to f2, queen f4, queen f5 is threatening, and it's very deadly. And in case black plays f6, white plays queen f4 anyway. And after king f7, for example, even bishop takes f6 seems to be winning, since, well, it's not very it's kind of difficult actually to find during a practical game, but black's king is in a checkmating net, and it's impossible to protect from all those unpleasant threats. That's how white could have won this game. And let's get back to our next position with a similar tactical motive, with a similar tactical concept. Now it's black who managed to find the same idea, and it's white who forgot for a second, for one move, about the safety of his king and moved the rook to e5, thus weakening the first rank and weakening the king's position. Black noticed the winning idea. Black noticed the winning idea immediately. My little helper, Santa's helper, arrived. The one who helped me so much. Say hi.
Hi.
The one who helped me so much in the last days to get closer to my goal. I managed to do it. Oops, we have... I need to... Yes. Like this. Yes, we're watching the chess combinations. And Francesca helped me last night to be a hand I was playing blindfolded. Francesca was moving the pieces. So if you ask her again to do so, she might agree. I don't know. With Francesca, you never know. She can just say no, and that's gonna be it. There is no way we can make her change her mind. But if she's in a good mind, who knows? Yes, by the way, it's Francesca who didn't know. It's my daughter, and she doesn't play chess. No, she doesn't play chess. Okay, but probably even Francesca will notice. We'll find a winning idea for black here. No, I doubt it. Okay. A very nice idea, rook to h1. Maybe you will say why black made this move. Why? What would happen after king takes h1? Why did the rook sacrifices? Yes, it sacrifices in order to get this pawn pinned. In order to get this... You see? And you said no? Well done. Queen to h3, thanks to this pin, or as we call it, x-ray, right? The bishop is kind of x-raying, and there is no way for white pawn to move. And what does it mean? It means that after any move, well, white has two moves to make. What will happen? Yes, queen takes g2 will happen. was a checkmate. That's how this game ended, and that happened because of this unfortunate error. Unfortunate error of rook to e5. Always remember about the safety of your king. Wow. I switched on the computer for a while, and it suggests the move knight to d7. Wow. Nice. I like those moves under 3 attack on absolute unprotected squares, but somehow, well, if queen takes d7, then it's just an exchange, and I suppose it's good for white to exchange this knight, which is far away, on b6. If rook to d7, of course we know what would happen, right?
No.
Well, the king is left all alone. The 8th rank is kind of empty, so we're using it. Rook to e8, and then any check on h8 will lead to a checkmate. Queen or rook. Same story, same result. And what's going to happen if the knight will take on d7? That's like the probably queen to c7 with a double attack. Okay, it's not winning, but it's always nice. Those moves, you usually don't even consider them, because this square is so very well protected that somehow this stubborn knight goes to this d7. No, I want to go there anyway. Like Francesca, she said, I want to. She does. Okay.
Someone asks, what's her rating? That's
yes.
Very funny.
Actually, that's a tricky question. What's your rating?
In tennis, I'm 5'6".
That's it. In tennis, she's
5'6".
5'6".
French ranking.
French. What about you?
UTR.
UTR. What is your UTR rating?
Like 7.
7. Okay, around 7. Thank you, Raiders. Володя, спасибо за рейд. Мы тут разбираем тактику.
What about Among Us rating?
Is there such a rating?
Yeah, of course. I'm 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Wow, nice. Okay, so let's finish our Chess Killer Tips podcast flashback with one last combination. Peter Ach was playing with black. It's a grandmaster from Hungary, but probably in 1998, when this game was played, he was like, well, he was also from Hungary, but he was not a grandmaster at that time. Most likely was like a junior championship under something. My personal marathon best. Actually, I run just one marathon. I don't expect to run any more marathons, but I had a very good time on this marathon. 4 hours, 8 minutes. But getting back to chess, it was white to move. And for some unknown reason, white decided not to win the queen. I don't know why. Really. After rook d8, the position is unclear. Rook e8 was going to be played, most likely. And then I don't know the evaluation of this position. Black will take. White can take, actually, because rook to g5 leads to checkmate. Aha! Very unexpected. Unexpected checkmate, huh? So black needs to take the pawn, and probably the position is about equal. But who knows how the game would have ended. In the game that we're discussing, the last example for our small today's lecture, before we'll get to our playing session. White decided to show his good tactical vision and took on g6, inviting black to take the queen on g5, and thus wishing to checkmate black's king. The only problem is that black noticed the same concept, the same motive, the same combination we've been discussing in the last 30 minutes, which is rook to e1 check, king to h2, And Francesca? The same idea of decoying the king to a very unfortunate position on h1. How we get the king to h1? That's correct, by sacrificing the rook on h1. And why do we want to get the king to h1? Well, almost yes, because if the king goes to g3, the problem that we'll just take with the check, right? The queen. And after king to h1, it's a little bit more complicated version of the same combination. The g2 square is protected, so we need to deflect the queen as well. How do we do that? How do we get rid of the only defender of the g2 square?
Eat it.
Well, unfortunately we cannot eat it because, as I already mentioned, the g takes h7 checkmate will follow. These bishops, they kind of annoying. So we don't have time to make quiet moves. We need to look for checks. And yes, there are many. Queen to h1 would be very generous. Queen to h1 is very generous, but I'll just grab your queen. Unfortunately, instead of winning, you're gonna lose. So rook to c1 was the last move of this game, and white resigned because, yes, unfortunately the queen needs to get away. And if she takes on c1, black's queen will take on g2, and it's gonna be checkmate. So that's a combination we discussed today. We listened to the first episode of Chess Killer Tips podcast and analyzed a little bit with more examples this, I think, very nice tactical motif of decoying, deflecting, all those kind of things, spinning, x-raying. But chess is all about those patterns recognitions. First you need to learn this combination motif, then you need to solve like hundreds of tactics, and then one day it may happen that you're gonna just your favorite command. You want to try your favorite command. Francesca's been
Wait.
Yes. But now we'll get to our playing mode. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. You see, yes, we managed. Thank you, guys, and we're getting more of you, more followers. So welcome to this channel. Hopefully you gonna enjoy streams that are going on here.